Hi friends, welcome back to Arc Tutorials. This is Angular 11 step-by-step tutorial on how to create your Angular material layout from scratch for your application. If you're working with Angular applications, chances are you're working with Angular material. Of course, the other framework that is used is Bootstrap. I've covered that exclusively in my other tutorial series. In this particular episode, I'm going to do from scratch to show you how do you go about building a layout for your Angular application using Angular material. Let's get started. Before I start this particular episode, I'll request you to kindly check out my Angular series on 9 and Angular 10, which has more than 100 plus tutorials. All the aspects of Angular are covered in detail, step by step, with detailed use cases, which will really help you learn and master Angular. Do check it out. The link is in the description box below. Alright, so what will you be doing at the end of this particular tutorial? You will be able to create a layout, a template for your Angular application using Angular material. Let's get started. Alright, so I have an empty directory. I don't have anything in here. I'm going to show you from scratch. So the first thing that we will do is npm install @angular/cli. So once you do this, you will be able to generate an application for your purpose. Like when you're doing an Angular application building, obviously the first thing you need is Angular CLI. Let's give it a couple of minutes while it is doing its job. I'll request you to kindly check out my channel, other tutorials, which are Mean Stack Application, Angular 10 series, Bootstrap, Express, Node, and much more. I'm sure you will only gain some knowledge when you go through those series. Alright, so what are we going to build? So we are going to build a header for our application. We are going to build a sidebar. We are going to build a main content area and footer. And how are we going to do exactly? We are going to generate few components for these purpose. We are going to also install Angular material in our application and then proceed to create a two-column layout. Right, so this will be a two-column layout, but the first step that we are doing is installing Angular CLI. Once you do that, it says that Angular CLI is installed. So the next thing we'll do is ng new, which will create a new application. So I'm going to call it, say if you're building an e-commerce, you're building a CRM. So let's call it CRM application. Now I've specified the name of the application here. Right, so the first command that I did was npm install @angular/cli. That's the first. The second step is creating an application through ng new and name of the project. I have named it CRM. You can name it anything. Now it is going to ask you few options. Okay. Now here it says, do you want it in strict mode? I'm saying yes. Do you like to add routing? Yes. And what type of CSS? So I'm selecting SCSS, which is SAS. Now it will create the application. If you see on your left hand side, it is creating an application called CRM. Right. So once this is done, we need to do a couple of more things like installing Angular material in our application. If you already have an Angular application, you can still add it like this. Now there are two ways of adding it. You can use ng add to install the Angular material, or you can use npm package. Whichever you do is fine. There is no right or wrong way about it. It's just installing the package. That being said, let's go ahead and let's wait for this to complete. If you're enjoying this particular episode or this channel, please do considering liking the video, and please do consider subscribing to my channel as well. Also, I don't do any editing work. I code on the fly, runtime, like live coding. So chances are it takes some time, a little bit few more minutes. Please bear with me. As always, I welcome you to ask me your questions or doubts. If you are stuck somewhere, ask me at surya.aradhya@gmail.com. This is my email ID. You can always reach out to me if you have any queries or any doubts. Alright, so that being said, let's allow a couple of more minutes. Okay, I'll share you some of things from my experience. I would say that around 60 to 70% of the I would say percentage, most of the Angular applications work with Angular material. Some prefer Bootstrap, but I'm seeing a trend where mostly Angular material is preferred with Angular framework. So make sure that you learn, stay with me on this channel so that I can share more Angular material tutorials as well, so that will help you learn and master the entire Angular ecosystem. Soon I'll be also launching RxJS with Angular. That's one of the most demanded requests that I get every time. So that also I'm working and should be out very soon. Alright, so we see that the packages are installed successfully and it's ready for us. The next step I told you is to add the Angular material framework, right? So let's add it. So we'll say ng add @angular slash material. So this is the command we'll run to add the Angular material into our Angular application. You have to be in the project directory before you run that. Alright, so if you open the project and go to a file called package.json, you would be able to see the version of the Angular that we are working with. So see that everything is on 11, right? So when we do Angular material, it would bring the compatible version, which is 11.2, I believe, and that would be added to the package as well. Alright, so what did we do to install Angular material? We did ng add @angular slash material. Now sometimes people have reported that they are seeing some issues when they run this command. You can also do npm angular slash material. Okay, either commands is fine. You should see the entry in your package.json for Angular material. Right, that being done, said close. Now we are good to go. So we are inside the project folder. Which style package? I'm going with indigo and pink. Yes, set up the typography, set up the browser animations. So these are some of the options. It will ask you select anything. You can always upgrade it anytime. There's no hard and fast rule for that. All right, so let it allow just a minute and then we will run the application using ngserve. Remember, you have to be in the project directory to work with. So it has done its job. It has updated the Angular JSON, index, style.scss, all set. Now let's run the app. So we are running the app using ngserve, right? So what is our game plan? The game plan is in the app component. Let's first run the app. I don't want to hurry you up. I have all the time in the world to help you. Let's take it easy and slow. So the first time it will do all the compilation of all the modules. So you will see the delay. You do the first time, not delay. It takes like a couple of more seconds. But from the next time onwards, it should be pretty fast. So let it compile. Once it's compiled, it will tell you that it's running on a certain port, which is by default running on 4200. So we can see here it says it's running on localhost 4200. Go to the project and refresh. This is the application you would see. This is the default screen of Angular application. So once you see the default screen slash view, we are good to start layout, to build layout. Okay, now the next thing we are going to do is I'm going to clean up in the app. You have app component.html. I'm going to delete everything from here except router outlet. And if you are wondering why I'm doing it, please do refer to my Angular 10 series that I have on my channel, which gives you all the details, step-by-step guides on all use cases, right? So I'm not going to dig it here, but instead I will just open it up and start coding now. Alright, so I have the app component that I have used. What we are going to also do is Angular material. So go to the Angular material. This is the, I'm going to components. The first thing I'm going to do is the toolbar, right? That's what I want. So I'm going to start building my application from the toolbar because that's where I want to have the layout. Alright, so let's get started, and without wasting any time, let's start building. So there is something called mat toolbar That's what we are interested in, right? It would be in the side nav. So if you go to applications and user interface, you can see those examples. Let's go here and say we want to use a basic drawer, right? If you just want to use a basic, you can use a basic drawer container or a mat toolbar, whichever you can use, that's fine. Let's start working with the, the drawer. Okay, so in the app container, in the app component, I've taken the code which is mat drawer here, just the starter one. Copy the router outlet, move it into the main content area. All right, and like this. So whatever will be the output, it would come inside the mat drawer. You will see the error because we have not imported the module. So let's do that. And the API, if you go to the API, just import mat side nav toolbar into the app module, and I'm going to paste it here and going to include this mat side nav. So now you should not see the error because we have included it. So now it's compiled successfully. Alright, so what I've done, I have a container, I have a drawer, I have a drawer content. This is where the main output will go into it. Now the next thing I'm going to do is go into the app itself and create. I'm going to open one more terminal and I'm going to go into CRM, into the project folder, and create a new module. I'm going to call it ng generate m, which is module, right? First, in app component, I have included mat drawer, which is nothing but it will give us the two column layout that we need. So I've included the mat drawer, and then I'm creating a new module by the name layout. Okay, so you see the layout is created. I will go into the layout. It can be a lazy loading module if you prefer that, but I am making it just a normal module because that's what is going to be reused everywhere. Now quickly let's generate few components. Say ng generate header. Let's okay, ng generate component. I'm going to say footer. Ng generate component sidebar. Right, so what I've done in the layout, I have added three components. All right, so that will act just like how we want. So we got the three components. Now what I'm going to do, go to my app component and going to add it here and say app header. This is my header component. What is this? This is a selector. If you are new to Angular, I'll highly recommend that please do check out the Angular 10 series where I've explained you in detail. Same way, in the drawer content, I'm going to use my app sidebar. That will be my sidebar, and at the end I'm going to use the footer component. See, with just few lines of code, I'll be able to get my entire application up and running soon. Now it says app header is not a known element, obviously, because app module doesn't know its existence. So what we need to do, we need to import the layout module from dot slash layout module. Now that we have the layout module, include it here. It will still not work. The reason being that we have not exported the components. So what we need to do, we need to copy this array of all the components that we need outside of this module, and in the exports, export all the components, and now you should be good. So it says header works, footer works. All right, now let's go ahead and see app sidebar. So if you see here, there is a app sidebar. Okay, so we should ideally be seeing that also. Mode equal to side, and it's open app sidebar. Okay, so we got the header works, we got the footer works, and we got the app sidebar. So now what we are going to do is include our sidebar and give some additional details so that we know that they are captured. So let's get that done. Okay, and we got the app sidebar, but it's not reflecting. Let's see. Sidebar is exported, and we have the sidebar works. Okay, just allow me a minute. Let's see what is happening. Is there any error? No error. Okay, and what is the name here we have given? App sidebar inside the mat drawer. Okay, and we got the app layout, and let's test it some more. Okay, so we got the footer, we got the header. Let's see the reason why um, sidebar is not showing up. Maybe it's because we don't have any data yet. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to add a route. Okay, and we are going to also create some links in our sidebar. So for that I'm going to use a mat list. It will keep building, so don't worry about it. Let's keep adding items as we go along. So I'm going to take a mat item list and go into the sidebar and add it here. Now it will give you error because we have not imported the module. Let's import the module, mat list module, in our layout module and include this in our layout. I'm not adding it in the app. Make sure that you add it to the layout. Okay, so once we have it, now let's see. Okay, I'm going to stop and start one more time so that there is no compilation. Mat list should be in, and we have the app sidebar, and we have the router outlet. Okay, so far good. It's generating. Let's wait for it to build complete. So it's now build complete. That way we know that there is data out there. And what I'm going to throw now is create a new route. For that I'm going to create a new module. Let's go here and outside let's generate a module and call it users. Ng generate module users. Alright, so inside the app, let's go to users and generate one or two components. I'll say list users. Alright, so I got a users module and I have the component which is list users. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to put it here and export this also, the list users component. So remember, whenever you work with any components outside of that module, like this one, it's in users, but I want it outside. So you need to export it. So here you're going to take this app list users and go to routing. And here I'm going to add a route. And I'm going to say when the path is just home page, then the component that it should refer is list users component. Okay, so what I'm doing, by default I'm saying the first thing that it should come. So you see the sidebar has started showing up. We'll fix the styling in just a bit. So first let's do that. Here if I'm calling it app container, let's style it with app container, and here let's put the app container. So here you will specify the width and height. Okay, so what we need is we need the 100% height, so let's put it 100%, and width also I want 100%. Now you would see the sidebar is showing up. So I want the sidebar to be little bit more grace, right? So what we are going to do, we go to Sidebar Css and put that here. So you give the same styling for this. So if you want to give certain styling, make sure that you're giving it specific, not generic one. For example, the sidebar. In this case, we want the sidebar to have certain style, right? So what you can do, you can give a class if you want that way and put a sidebar and say dot sidebar, and here you can give a certain width if you prefer. Mostly if you see the applications, they will be somewhere around 200 to 250 pixel. So again, that depends upon how you want it, but I said 200 is good enough. So you see the footer, you see the header. Now let's fix the header. We'll start working one by one. In the header, what I'm going to do is simply add a toolbar, which is a header, right? Code, and that should do the work for us. Mostly, it's just a header, nothing complicated. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go here, and in the nav, right? In the nav, we can see, go to menu, and you can see there are different formats that we can select. We can use progress bar, icon, grid, header, snack bar, toolbar. So I'm going to go to toolbar to take this one, just the basic one, and I'm going to copy this code here from mat toolbar, copy it, move it to our header. Okay, so now again this will give you error because we have to import the module in our layout. So go to API. All the code, all the components are available in the documentation, so make sure that you do it correctly, so that you don't miss out on it, right? So, and then we will just copy it, paste. All right, just a second, I'm getting a call. Okay, I got the mat toolbar, and I'm getting this mat toolbar I've included in my header. I should not see that error. Now when I go to my application, it says error mat icon. Okay, so we need a mat icon as well. So let's go to mat icon module. Okay, here take this API, copy it, go and do the same in layout. So whichever components you're using with Angular material, you need to import those modules. Okay, so now you see we got this header that way we want, and then let's style it up little bit, not too much today. And I'm going to, so you got the header and toolbar, and you say class equal to primary, so that way you should see the primary styling coming up. Alrighty, let's, oh, it's still not showing up. Okay, let's see why. But you can take up the existing example. Don't stress too much on it. You already have all the information and data here. Not in the menu, examples, and go to API, and you would see overview. Just a minute. Okay, toolbar, code, and you are going to take this toolbar color equal to primary. Oh, sorry, it's not color, it's color. Okay. Alright, so now you see the blue color heading, we got the sidebar, we got the main content area, we got the footer. Again, you will keep styling them as we need. So here we need some class for the spacer, right? So let's put that here. So this is a flex, right? So we need to give the flex and say how you want it to be arranged. Now these are simple styling that you can use with your application the way you would like. Try auto, or you can say 001, and it should position, or we can say something like auto. Instead of auto, I'm going to say 11 auto, and that should do the trick. So you see the icons have moved here. We got the header, we got the button, we got the sidebar. Now you want the sidebar links, you can always change them here, right? And you put the links that you would like to, the route to go, and you can have the links here. Similarly, if you don't want certain styles for your link, you can always customize that. That text decoration, none. So you see now you don't have it. So this is how you go about building a layout. Now this is an empty starter layout which you have, and you see the default component it comes is list users. Now similarly you can give any kind of routes and any kind of I would say component that you want to target. So for example, some people what they do is they'll have a common thing called dashboard or starting page or home page or profile, and there you want to start it. So this is how you can always customize the layout. So now this is a basic starter template for you. You have a header, you have sidebar, you have main content, and finally you have footer. Go ahead, customize it. You can throw in more links if you have, say, you have more than one module. Say I'm going to generate one module and I'm going to say ng generate module roles. So what you can do is you can go to roles and generate a component and say list roles. Now in the app routing, and I'm going to add in one more route, and here I'm going to say list roles component, and here I'm going to say roles, and in the sidebar you would go and add that and say roles, and certainly it's not the Carty roles that we eat, it's the user roles and permissions. Alright, so you have the roles, you have the users. So once you do that, you might want to also throw in a path for users, because sometimes users will miss that. So this is how you should do default, and also make an explicit route. So now you see it says list role works, list user works, right? So you can navigate between different things. Your data refreshes as you progress along. So this is a very basic template to start working with. At least you will get a good head start on how you should go about building your application's layout. I'll use this layout in going forward for all the Angular 11 tutorials, so make sure that you get this handle. I'll tweak it a little bit, make it more styling, but this is the generic layout that you want to work with. I hope you have enjoyed. I hope you have learned how to do it. I'm starting a brand new series on Angular material as well very soon on 11. So make sure this is a starting point for it. So anything that we do will be on this template. So make sure that you have the code, you get your hands dirty, and join me in the next episode where I'm starting a brand new series on Angular material as well soon. If you like my work and tutorials, please do consider buying me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/arctutorials. And please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and like my videos. Thank you so much. See you in the next episode.